That shit crack. From style. And show why you deserve to have it all. She crack. AJ goes so hot. What she order?
Something I learned from one of my mentors who is worth nearly, if not $1 billion, is the importance of job titles. He actually referred me to a book called Work Rules, who talks about Google and how the culture of Google was created, and specifically how they didn't take job titles seriously until they studied Google. And Google takes job titles very seriously. See, when you're fresh into business, you might have someone who's your right-hand person and call them your COO. And that's actually devastating half the time to your business and to the work that they produce, because people tend to do the work that the job title actually is supposed to provide. So realistically, if you make a hire and that person should be an operations assistant, but because the business is small, you call them a COO. It does a few things. Number one is it changes the scope of work that they do, because an operations assistant versus a COO do very different things. And when someone Googles their job title and what the responsibilities of that title are supposed to be, they're going to get very different things than if you assigned a correct title in the first place.
And lose me on FIFA again.
Yeah, I do want to beat you in FIFA. Bro, you were quite literally the best team in FIFA. And for the entire game, until the 89th minute, it was a 1-goal difference. And it would have been tied, but I got caught with a bull offside.
Do you recall the first game?
No.
When you were, who were you?
Nope.
You were Man United.
Oh, the shit team. Number two is people often give titles out that are mismatched to compensation. But realistically, if you hire someone for an operations assistant role, but title them a COO, they do have some merit in saying that they're underpaid, because COOs, on average, make more than operations assistants. And if you're paying them for an ops assistant role, but you're calling them a COO, there is discrepancy there. So compensation gets messy. And then the third main thing, too, is that realistically, you're going to give yourself so much trouble vertically ascending them, because when you already give them a title of ops director instead of ops assistant, or COO, or VP of sales rather than sales manager, you're actually taking away the room vertically that they can grow in the business, because you're already giving them these higher end titles. And so titles are incredibly important. And one of the roles that I see this in specifically is the assistant role. How did my keeper not get that? I didn't notice the shooting boost. Everyone in the online world is looking for an executive assistant, and I've had many executive assistants, and I can truly say that every single person I've had the blessing of working with in that role has been awesome. But no one until my recent hire has been an actual executive assistant. I've just used that term ignorantly because that's what everyone uses in this world, in this case. And so I want to break down assistants, what each assistant role really is, and how you actually just through understanding the titles of different assistants can better understand what you need, how to hire for that, what their responsibilities should be, how to compensate, and how they can grow. And so today is going to be a very boring video talking about a very specific concept, which is how to understand what kind of assistant you need, if you need an assistant, and how to leverage an assistant.
You're going to do your famous sparkling water test.
Yes. All right, here we go. Yeah, good flavor profile. See that? You want to see it go right up to the top, so that's good. 10 out of 10. Genuinely 10 out of 10.
Number one, the first level of assistant, I've never heard this term used anywhere else other than Patrick Bet David, but I like the term, so I'm going to use it too, is called a runner. Someone who is willing and able to run around the business, run around your life, and just do whatever needs to be done. Someone who doesn't have any kind of decision-making authority. They are just doing tasks, clerical, personal, etc., just tasks around business and life. It is a very low-level, entry-level role in a business, but everyone could probably benefit from a runner. Realistically, if you have a lot of things going on in business and in life, it doesn't hurt to have a runner, meaning someone who can drop off dry cleaning and take your car to the car wash. At the same time, they're also uploading things into Google Drive that your clients need. It's just all the little random tasks. It's like the next step up from a VA, which is what everyone in the online space starts with, a VA from the Philippines. And once you step up into an in-person runner, it's someone who can do personal things in your everyday life and also business. The step after that, in my opinion, is what's called an administrative assistant, admin assistant. This is clerical work. This is someone who is working on the administrative side of your business and also personal life. So this could be someone who is creating your house manager SOP SOP. It also could be someone who is booking on your calendar and making sure that they're protecting your calendar time. It's someone who's doing a lot of coordination between you and team members, you and clients. It's very administrative, hence administrative assistant work. It's a step up from a runner, but it's not nearly executive assistant level, which we're going to get to in a second. Again, exec assistant is like the most grossly thrown around term in the industry, and I've done it too. And so it's to no one's blame, it's just lack of understanding of what an executive assistant is. Administrative assistants are awesome. After admin assistant, you would get to executive assistant. And an executive assistant is someone, this is key, I'll put this on the screen as a pop-up. An executive assistant can make executive decisions for you. I want you to think about, if you have an executive assistant, I want you to think about this. Do you trust your executive assistant to make decisions for you? And I'm not talking about whether or not to put something on your calendar. Can they make hiring decisions? Can they make marketing decisions? Can they launch something without you having to see it? Can people on your team go to your executive assistant, and can your executive assistant approve without you needing to do it? An executive assistant is not someone who takes clerical work off your plate, which is what most EAs do in the online space. Again, that should be an admin assistant. An executive assistant is someone who can take decision making off your plate, which is incredibly rare. Realistically, the executive assistant for Jeff Bezos probably has more experience in business than I do. They're probably extremely high level and extremely savvy in business and can do things and approve things so that Jeff doesn't have to see that. That way the executive is fully focused on what they need to be doing in business. In most cases, your personal assistant will work in parallel with your executive assistant, because if you're kind of like me and most business owners, your business and personal life are very harmonious. If you're traveling, which is something your personal assistant will accommodate, your travel, your flights, your accommodations. If you're traveling, there's likely a lot of business need to your travel, and so your executive assistant will be working on the calendar and where you need to be with your personal assistant. So very, very hand-in-hand roles, but your personal assistant is doing anything on your personal life. That could be small things like setting up times at Ralph Lauren with your stylist to go shopping so that they're ready for you. It could be larger things like helping you buy a car, finding out what you want, doing research on what's available, negotiating, getting it to the point where you just have paperwork to sign. In some cases, the personal assistants actually have POA and they'll just do the paperwork. I don't know if I recommend that, but they can do large things like that. And of course, they just help with everything about your personal everyday life. Personal assistants oftentimes are making sure that you're maintaining relationships, gifting people, friends and family on their birthdays, sending letters to people on their anniversaries. They almost hold a personal CRM for you. Your executive assistant holds like a professional CRM, and they come together to make sure you're as efficient as possible with your time on calendar and your relationships. And then if you really build all this out, if you have a PA and an EA and an AA and a runner or multiple runners, then you likely have, at this point, a chief of staff. A chief of staff is someone who, for lack of better words, coordinates all of that. Realistically, when it comes down to it, most people are not large enough in business to require or need a chief of staff. But the point of today's video is really just on the term executive assistant. I want you to think about your EA, and if your EA, if your executive assistant cannot make executive level decisions for you, then it's probably best to reword them into one of those titles. And if you do reword the title to administrative assistant or runner, or maybe they're actually a PA, whatever it is, having a specific title allows them to do research on what that role is. They can read books on how to be the best administrative assistant in the world, and then the compensation they find online might be more aligned with what the new title is, and things go smoother. This is about assistants, exec assistants, but it's really applicable to any role in business, making sure that the title that you give someone is actually applicable to the role that they have. Most people aren't doing that. I've also been guilty of that many, many times. I don't know if today's video is going to make any sense. I hope it does. It's Friday at 7 p.m., and so I am a little bit brain dead. I also feel like I get wordy on Friday, and so maybe this is a little bit word vomity. Either way, Ollie will make me sound smart. Until next time, happy hunting.
How's today been?
A real productive day, bro. Honestly, there are days where you just get into the office and grind and get insane amounts of work done, you know? And that's one of the days that you can have.
That's what I did today, realistically. I had a very productive day. Nice day, feel good, feel energized, and realistically, not every day can be that way.
Yeah, today was not a productive day.